What's going on, storytellers? It is another episode of the One Clear Story podcast. My name is Alex Street, and I'm here to help make storytelling simple for you and your business. And today, I'm very excited. I was just inspired to get into this conversation today about really your positioning for your audience, but in the context of being a Disney character. So I'm pretty pumped about this one because the truth is, you want to learn about storytelling. I mean, go to the masters of simple storytelling for decades. Actually, I guess over a century now, we look at Disney as the masters of how to take storytelling and make it something that is repeatable, that is really will draw people in and is extremely profitable. So, I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff we could talk about Disney and how terrible of a corporation they are and how they don't treat their people well. And, yep, all of it. And let's study the good stuff. Let's look at this because today what I want to do is to see the difference between the villains and the heroes. And specifically, there's two types of songs that heroes and villains deliver in some of the most classic Disney animation films that you have seen. And if you are a Disney adult like me, then you are going to love this episode. If you're not a Disney adult and you don't go see Disney movies as an adult with or without your kids, well, you're still going to recognize some of the characters that we're talking about here. And so do lean in. Don't lean back just because, oh, he's talking about kids' movies. No. These are absolutely locked and loaded themes that Disney uses, but not just Disney uses. These are themes that are used by all musicals around the world, whether they're on stage or they're in film. These are the same sort of motifs and ideas that are used. And I think that there's something that we can really learn as business owners, showing up, sharing the parts of ourselves that we hope are going to connect with people. So let's dive into this idea of, are you a villain or are you a hero? And I'll give you two simple ways to figure out if you are being perceived by your audience as a villain or as a hero. Oh, baby. That just felt like really big stakes there. Here's the difference. When you look at a Disney soundtrack, there's typically 4 or 5, maybe 6 if you're Frozen or Moana, really key songs that are put onto the soundtrack. And then there's all the score that's on there, and it's beautiful. The soundtracks follow, or obviously are pulled from the movie in which we are watching characters go through this journey, and the music of these musicals are put in there as a way to really clearly show what the character is thinking. These are inner dialogue moments. That's what a song is. It's a soliloquy. It's an idea that I want to share with the audience, but don't want everybody around me to know. And so anytime that you see a song, it looks like, yeah, they're communicating an idea, but ultimately it's this deep internal monologue that is being portrayed through this 3.5-minute package that is beautiful and memorable and catchy and all the things that these Disney songs are. And you look at some of the biggest movies from the Disney Renaissance. I mean, like 89 was The Little Mermaid, and then we had Aladdin with, A Whole New World, and then we had Beauty and the Beast with so many songs in that, and The Lion King, was it the highest grossing movie soundtrack of all time until Moana came around in 2016, I think, and then that overtook it as another Disney movie. So there are these iconic movies that we know. And if I were to ask you what are the songs that stand out to you from those, you would probably tell me things like, well, in Little Mermaid, there's Part of Your World. And in Lion King, there's I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And in Beauty and the Beast, I mean, there's the song Beauty and the Beast, but there's that opening song by Belle. Moana, I mean, it's How Far I'll Go. Mulan, it's Reflection. Of course, there's a little bit of a deep cut here, but what I want you to recognize is there are hero songs and there's a villain song. Now, the hero song is typically early in the movie, and it is called an I Want song. Then there's this villain that is introduced in some way, the antagonist to the protagonist that we just discovered. And the antagonist sometimes will have a song as well. It's this real clear identification that they're a baddie. They're not good. They've got something sinister cooking. And the difference between the protagonist song and the antagonist song is something that I have recently learned and is blowing my mind. The protagonist shows up with this I Want song. They are in one place, they desire to be in another place, and they spend this 3 to 5 minutes helping us, the audience, see what they deeply desire in this world. And that obviously sets up the story as a really clear, we're going from here to here. That's what we're going to now sit through for the next 90 minutes. I mean, as a storytelling technique, it's as simple and clear as it comes. It's like, let me tell you where we're going right now. I feel like this, but I want to feel like this. And, oh, you're in for a ride as we get to that point. That's what's happening there. But in that I Want song, they are displaying this desire, and we as an audience cannot help but find ourselves in that same desire. When they sing, when Rapunzel sings about leaving her tower and seeing the world, when will my life begin? I mean, talk to anybody out there, millennials and younger, and say, do you ever wonder or feel like your life hasn't quite begun yet? Yes. Look at the Belle song, I Want Adventure in the Great Wide Somewhere. Is that it? Talk to anybody. Do you wish for bigger adventure out of your small town life? Yep. What about Moana? I wonder how far I'll go. So many of these are some expression of, I feel like my life right now is mediocre and there's something more that I'm made for. I don't know a single human that has not felt that or does not think that, especially as kids or young adults. And I mean, business owners today, every single one of us, you are listening to this podcast because you know that you are at some place and it's okay. But you also know that there's something else on the horizon. That sounds like a pretty good song. It sounds like if you really wanted to, you could go the distance. You would step into the unknown because you just can't wait to be king or queen. Are you following along? There are these songs that are these I Want songs. This is all going to connect in just a second when we drop the hammer here, and it makes sense for you as a business owner showing up online. So stick with me, because the other version of this is the antagonist, the villain of the movie, and they don't have an I Want song, because the key here is we don't want you identifying with the villain. We don't want you to feel empathy for this villain. Typically, there is some far more nuanced storytelling in which you do feel empathy for the villain, and it causes a lot of really interesting feelings within you. But mostly, the simple storytelling technique is you don't empathize with the villain. You just need to know where they're coming from. And actually, if you can elevate that threat level or danger level, that's better for the audience, because we get to boo them and cheer on the hero. And so the heroes or the villain song is not an I Want song. It's an I Am song. This is a version of them showing up and simply declaring who they are. Now, this is really interesting because you get somebody like Scar, the villain in The Lion King, who shows up and convinces himself that he is the rightful heir to the throne. And then he gets this army of hyenas around him to sing this song, Be Prepared, because he is going to war. That's who he is. He is this rightful leader, but we know he's not. But he thinks that he is this. There's no going back. There's no other way around it. And because of that, we see the threat and we separate ourselves from him. Whereas Simba just sang about wanting to be king. It's like they're the same song, but coming at it from a totally different standpoint. I want to be king because I am just this kid, and I know that I'm made for more, and I know that I've got all these grandiose visions of what life will be like when I actually make it there, and it's cute, and it's fun, and it's relatable. And then you have Scar show up and say, I will use force. I am a person who gets my way, and I've sat back for far too long. And we go, ew. This really interesting juxtaposition there. Then, let's go to other ones. Let's go to a couple other villains. Let's look at Shiny from Moana. I've talked about Moana a bunch. She's got this song where she's on this island, and she's not allowed to go past the reef, and so she sings about how far I'll go. And it's this great declaration of, like, I am meant for so much more. See the line on the sea? See the line on the line? See the line at the line of the sea? What's the song? It calls me. And the call isn't out there at all. It's inside me. Ooh, that's such a good line. But then she comes across this big bad monster at the depths of the sea. It's this giant crab lobster thing, and it's one of the guys from Flight of the Conchords. Absolutely brilliant. And he sings this song called Shiny. And he's this big villain that's going to actually is the first massive barrier to them getting forward. Now, the big bad of the whole movie is actually this lava monster. But this one right here has this song called Shiny where he is what? He's just talking about how he wants more shiny things for his shell because he loves to be shiny. That's it. That's who he is. I am shiny. And we go, okay, fun, funny, but gross. Don't care. Don't want him to get ahead. I want Moana to keep going because her mission is like my mission. We're made for more. We're not just here to collect a bunch of stuff on our shell. No. We're here to make a difference in this world. That's the difference between the I want and the I am. I'll give you a couple more in a second, but I got to link this forward because I know you're waiting for, like, so what? What the hell does this have to do with me showing up on Instagram with my coaching business, Alex? Come on. All right, you've been very patient. You've waited long enough. Let's get into it. Here's what we need to be doing as storytellers out there today. You should not be only declaring who I am. We need to be declaring what I want. When you tell us who you are, it makes sense. It helps us understand you. It helps us, call you something and know what you've done, but it's about you. So you spend all your time telling us about who you are and what you do, and we actually separate from you. Villains sing about who I am. But if you start telling us what you want, then we actually identify with you. Because it's depending how you present this and what kind of language you use, we will very quickly decide that we want the same thing, which then puts us very close together. You talk about who I am, and it separates you from where I am. But you talk about what you want, and I start to feel like I want the same thing. And if you want that, and I want that, and you have done all this work to be able to figure out some steps of how to get there, well, then I want to follow you. When you talk about who or what you want, we identify with you. When you talk about who you are, we might separate from you. Now, this is a big principle that it feels like I am really leaning into here, and I love the idea of the Disney characters and how they show up, and it creates this immediate connection or separation from the character. And I think that there's a lot of us out there showing up on social media today talking about who I am, calling it storytelling, and not getting a whiff from your audience because they are saying, okay, Cool. Glad to know that about you. I'm so happy that you have all those credentials. It's really cool what you're doing and how you are showing up. You're doing that thing. You're on that stage. You made this much money. You have this many clients. You have been doing this for this many years. You call yourself this. You have this framework. You are showing up this much and creating this much impact. Very good. It's good. You see, I'm not saying don't say any of those things. I'm saying those are good. They are credibility building. They are name tags. And you could go out there all day and only talk about that. And some people will go, wow, really cool. Like, look, they've clearly got this credibility. That's enough for me. I'm going to sign up. But if you want to make something that really gets people on board, creates super fans, creates this connection, this authentic community with people, then you may not ever have to talk about who you are at all, but you show up and you say, this is what I want for the world. Now, I think that a healthy attachment with that is, and that's why I'm a speaker coach, helping other people who want that get there as well. But when I start talking about what I want, guess what? I'm sharing one clear story. I'm saying things like, man, it is tough out here. There are more ads than ever on Instagram, and I feel like I need this secret sauce so I can show up and get noticed, but it just feels so confusing and complicated. And I'm trying to find what story to tell, and I'm trying to put it in the right language, but I just keep feeling like it's tiring, it's exhausting, I'm stuck, and I want something better. Do you feel that? Do you want that as well? Cue the music. I want something clear. Don't do that, Alex. What I want is clarity on what to say any given day. What I want is this confidence that when I show up and speak, it matters. It will make a difference. What I want is opportunities, an audience that respond that when I speak, that say, whoa, you're kidding? You too, when I speak. Because I know that that's going to lead to lasting impact. It's going to lead to more income as we all grow our businesses together. That's what I want, is for us all to show up without feeling like we are missing the mark or like we don't have the answers, but to feel like you always have the answers within you, because the answers always come down to one clear story, one clear direction from here to there, and you can fill in the gaps along the way. That's what I want for me, and that's what I want for you. That's why I've got this podcast. That's why I show up every day. That's why I keep doing these things and drawing people in, because I want what you want. Clarity, confidence, to captivate people and create lasting impact in this world. And I know that that's you, because you have stuck around for 15 minutes while I talk about Disney characters to find one thing that might help you be a better storyteller today, because you know that storytelling is the key to lasting success. And you are starting to believe that storytelling doesn't have to be complicated. Well, I want that for you too. All right, now what we need is Alan Menken to come in here and to write a song with inspiring lyrics and a chorus, a score behind it that just makes your heart soar. But I feel like I could do that. I can't sing it. I can't even write it. But I was starting to feel that. And I'm sure that you were as well, because the difference is I can show up and I can tell you about how I am a coach. I've made this mistake. I'm probably making this mistake right now on Instagram. I'm talking more about who I am than what I want. And even in the story arc, when I've been teaching people how to find your story, I always start with who I am. You start with the end of the story. You start with who are you right now? What's your title and your role? But then there's this key next piece that I always ask for. What's the desire? What's the impact that you want to make in the world? And so ultimately there is this quality of understanding who I am. I am Alex. I am a storytelling and speaking coach, a brand storyteller. helping people to find clarity and confidence as they speak their story. So that clarity, that's what I want most in the world. Just showing up and saying, I'm a storytelling coach, you should hire me, it's not enough. It's not enough. But when I declare what I want and then I latch that into a story that clearly states where I am or where I have come from, then we've got one clear story. We've got something that people can lean into, to connect with, and to say, all right, lead me there. You want to tell one clear story, you need to start acting more like a hero and less like a villain. Talk about who I want or what I want or who you want, less than you talk about who I am. Gosh, let's try that again. Talk about what I want more than you talk about who I am. And you will start to be known for that one clear thing, that one clear idea, that one clear desire, that one clear story. Hey, if this is connected with you, then I am so glad, because then I know that we are definitely friends as I talk for 15 minutes at Disney and you say, yep, I'm here for it. But obviously there's a huge twist here too, a shift to see how are you showing up online. And if this is connected with you in any way, then please reach out to me on Instagram at Street Says. I would love to hear what you connected with. I would love it if you share this episode on there. You just go ahead and click that share button and post it on your stories and say, wow, this episode really meant something to me. That's it. That sort of stuff fires me up. It spreads the conversation out there. It helps me become known for one clear story and to spread this amazing message. Otherwise, you can find all my work at alexstreet.ca and get a whole free 30-second story guide download at alexstreet.ca/30s, 30s. And you can get your free download to start to tell your simple story now. That's it for today. We'll see you next time. Bye.